In 2020, I had to go to family court to make my children safe. My ex-husband is a meth addict, and I had to collect and collate my text messages for my lawyer to prepare my affidavit. I had in my mind this magical platform that would suck in my texts, and that didn't exist. It was a nightmare. I had to screenshot hundreds and hundreds of texts. So that magical platform is what I've built.
Somebody who hasn't gone through that experience wouldn't have been able to build the tech with that empathy.
No, that's right. When I was looking for investment, they're like, what's to stop other people from building it? It's like, oh my God, anyone can build anything. What is really tough is to deeply understand what's happening for our customers.
Dispute Buddy is solving a problem that touches people at some of the worst moments of their life. How does that shape the way you built the product?
Yeah, it shapes every single decision we make.
We acknowledge the Gayamagal people, the traditional owners of the land on which we record this podcast. We pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging. The best career advice won't come from an AI prompt. It comes from the people who've lived it. Welcome to Tech Careers Hotline, brought to you by the Tech Council of Australia. I'm your host, Adair Robbins, and this is a podcast for anybody who's curious about a career in tech. We put real questions from real people to the leaders and builders of tomorrow. Let's begin. Just a quick note to say that we've built a new free resource on the Tech Council of Australia website. It's a guide for anyone who's curious about a career in tech. We'll put the link in the show notes. Go take a look. And now back to the show. What if the worst moment of your life became the reason you built something that helped thousands of others? That's what happened to today's guest. Jenny Rudd is a tech founder living in a small town in New Zealand, who after spending hours screenshotting painful texts from an ex-husband, realised that nobody had built a solution that she needed. And so she decided that she would. Dispute Buddy turns text messages into court-ready evidence without ever having to relive a single painful text. Her career is anything but traditional, and her mission is deeply personal, to help make justice accessible to the 77% of people who never get legal help when they need it most. If you've ever wondered whether it's too late to build a meaningful career in tech, this episode is for you. Hey Jenny, welcome to the podcast.
Yay, thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you on the show because I think you're such an incredible role model when it comes to a non-traditional pathway into tech and someone who's built tech from, personal experience in their life. And I believe this product is going to have such an incredible impact on so many people. So, yeah, delighted that we have you here and we can share your story.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go back to the beginning of your career. So you were the first female sports spread betting trader in London in 1999. What was that world like at the time?
It was very, very different to the world of 2026. I was the only woman on the trading floor, and at that time there wasn't anything like high volume trading. A lot of hand signals and guessing and writing down numbers on bits of paper and 4 gazillion TVs. And yes, I was the only woman there. I mean, in 1999, I was a deeply unevolved person as well. I was 24 and I didn't really have much concept of sexism or misogyny or racism, purely because wasn't something that I really thought about. And I experienced a lot of sexism there, but I didn't really think about it like that. I just thought of this is how the world is. It wasn't until I got quite a lot older that I really became much more passionate about inequality.
From trading, you moved into magazines. You bought a failing magazine with your husband in New Zealand. You turned it around and sold it. What did running a physical media business teach you?
It was so fun. I mean, I didn't kind of go straight from trading to buying the mag. There was a big gap in the between, and one of the big, beautiful things that I did in that was bring up my little children. I was at home a lot with my kids when they're younger. When we bought the mag, I literally knew nothing about business. It's hard to overstate how little I knew. I'd grown up in boarding school and in RAF bases. My dad was a fighter jet pilot. My mum was a teacher. We got paid by the state. I moved around the world and went in between these two institutions, boarding school and like Air Force bases from when I was little.
Mm.
And so I'd no commercial experience whatsoever, but I really loved the magazine. I said to my husband, I was like, oh my God, let's buy it. It'll be amazing. And I had this vision. I was like, oh my gosh, in like a year, I'm going to be like hanging out with my kids all the time and I'll have an editor running the mag for me and we'll be like loaded and stuff. And within maybe 2 or 3 months of buying their business, I sat down and I was like, whoa, I remember the conversation I had with myself, which was, okay, you have a choice now. It is either you spend a lot more time with your children or you figure out how to run a business. And I was like, can't not do this. I have to figure out how to crack this nut. And that was like the beginning of my like addiction to solving problems in business.
What did your husband say when you said you wanted to buy it? Was he on
Like,
board?
yes, it's like a great idea. Matt and I love an adventure together and we love being together. So we bought the business in 2015 and we sold it in 2021. We bought it for a very small amount of money and it was about to go under and it had no systems. We bought like a big pile of paper and not a lot else. We had turned the magazine around. I was finalist for best editor in the country. Our designer was finalist for best designer in the country. We
Wow.
had like really transformed this magazine. When we sold it, it was a really healthy entity. We sold it for a very unheard of multiple and had a life-changing amount of money, which by the way, doesn't have to be like a gazillion dollars for it to significantly change your life in a way that like gives you some space and allows you to move on to the next thing and use all those skills that you built there. It's taught me that I can literally do anything with good judgment and working really hard and figuring out how to work hard in a good way. Like I can do it. I can do anything I want.
After that, you're in your 40s and you've built a legal tech startup. What point did tech feel like where you needed to be?
By the time we left Uno, I had a shopping list of attributes that I wanted my next business to have. And one of them was tech software. Again, I didn't really think too much about the fact that I couldn't write code. I just saw other people. Some people were non-technical or non-engineer. So I was like, well, I'll just figure it out. I could see that tech was the future and I could see that women founders were doing an amazing job of this. I was advising them and all these sort of stars aligned with this opportunity, which I had experienced this problem, which was in 2020, I had to get a family court to make my children safe. My ex-husband is a meth addict and I had to collect my text messages for my lawyer to prepare my affidavit. And when my lawyer asked for them, she said, send me all your texts. I had in my mind this magical platform that would suck in my texts and just give her what she needed. And that didn't exist. It was a nightmare. I had to screenshot hundreds and hundreds of texts. So that magical platform is what I've built.
You talk about spending like 40 hours trawling through messages to build your case. What was the beginning of building that product for other people?
At the beginning, when you think that you want to build something, the first thing you should do is probably not build it, go and talk to a lot of people. You could knock up a prototype like really easy with Lovable or Cursor, which I absolutely recommend you to do. Go on YouTube, watch some YouTube videos. I've never built anything in tech before. I want to build a prototype. What is a prototype? How do I do that? What are the best tools for it? Build something really basic and test it. But what we did at the beginning was the first step was, this is the problem I experienced. Is it just my problem or is this everybody else's problem? Is this an actual thing? Are there lots and lots of magical platforms that suck in text and spit out exactly what the lawyer needs? If there are, I need to know about it. What blew my mind is that there wasn't. It's not that people weren't using alternatives to have the outcome that I needed, which was to use text messages as evidence. It's that everyone was using these weird workarounds that were just really inappropriate, weren't built for legal. They were either really techie products or people were screenshotting. Lawyers weren't even really thinking about it. So there was just this huge opportunity. The other thing is that usually legal products are built to help lawyers be more efficient. I've built a product to help normal people have access to justice. That's quite a different space. Even though Dispute Ready does get called legal tech quite a lot, in my mind, I think of legal tech to help lawyers make more money. Whereas what I'm building is part of a group of tech products that are direct consumer products. If you get 100 people who've got legal problems, only 23 of them ever access justice. By that, I mean, go to a lawyer, end up in court, or even get legal advice. 77% of them don't. That's mind-blowing.
And can you tell for the listeners who, aren't familiar with the product, how does it work? What's the output look
Sure.
like? Are you using AI in any way?
If you've ever been in a dispute, or if you've ever left an arsehole of an ex, you'll just know exactly what I'm talking about. You kind of go, I need to pull together all these texts. I know there's a lot of evidence in them, but you've just got this little black phone with one screen on it. And behind that screen, there's a gazillion texts and so much information. You've got no idea how to access it. So the way that Dispute Buddy works is you download the app onto your desktop, connect your iPhone. It's currently iPhone. It will be Android in a few months as well. Connect your iPhone to your computer, launch your app, enter contacts and date range, click export. That's it. And what you will get is a single PDF, which contains two things. Number one, message history between the contacts and date range. And number two, a behavior analysis, which highlights patterns and examples of behaviors such as controlling behavior, coercive control, financial, physical, emotional abuse, harassment, manipulation. And then you can take that PDF and you can either look at it and go, I knew it. I feel a lot better. You feel so much more in control. You can take it to your lawyer. You can take it to mediation. You can take it to the police, to an inspector. Most people that use our product have got an abusive ex. We are not replacing lawyers. We're supporting you in the first mile of evidence gathering. So when you go to your lawyer, or you go to mediation or whatever, you are organized and you are onto it.
For people who haven't been through this process, if you're getting your mind into that situation, it's re-traumatizing reading all the text, and it's just awful to be going through screenshot by screenshot. So this takes away that whole process of sifting through.
Built it specifically for that, to never have to reread a single painful one. If you're a victim of coercion or controlling behavior and any kind of manipulation, people like that, you still feel like, it's probably a little bit my fault. So you're not a very good judge of what is controlling and not. And also it's very insidious and slow, and it forms in patterns, not individual text. When you reread a text that's on your phone in the format in which you received it, you literally feel like you're there again. It is vital for that person to be removed from that so that they can support themselves to make good decisions for their legal situation. What we found is that people come to us, they feel really out of control. They're overwhelmed. They're so daunted. They're frightened of the legal system. They click, a couple of steps, and then they're like, oh my God, I've taken a massive step forward and I feel in control and I'm ready to attack this. It's really powerful, super powerful. I'm beyond proud that that's the business that we own. Yeah.
For the people who go through it, they know how vital tech like that really is. And I think what's incredible too is somebody who hasn't gone through that experience wouldn't have been able to build the tech with that empathy and design for
yes,
that.
that's right. You can't. It's funny because when I was looking for investment, I raised an oversubscribed round, but they're like, what's to stop other people from building it? It's like, oh my God, anyone can build anything. That's a ridiculous question. What is really tough is to deeply understand what's happening for our customers.
Dispute Buddy is solving a problem that touches people at some of the worst moments of their life. How does that shape the way you build the product?
Yeah, it shapes every single decision we make. When our user comes on, nearly all of our users have been traumatized in some way. People don't tend to buy Dispute Buddy because they are the abuser. They don't want transparency. We bring about transparency. And so that person, when they come on, they're frightened, overwhelmed with what they've got to do, not just gather their text. They've got to do a million different things. They've got to find a lawyer. They've got to keep working for their kids. They've got to maybe protect their kids from someone. They've got to do parenting orders with someone who might be abusive. There's all sorts of things going on. So simple and clear is absolutely vital. We're very careful with the language that we use. We don't use any kind of technical language. It's very step by step, lots of negative space in our app so that people are really supported to go through it. We do as least clicks as possible. And we keep our features very simple. They're the most useful things that those people want. So that's one of the ways that we do it. And now, near the beginning, people were like, oh, wow, you could collect all this data and you'd have this amazing data bank on how people communicate with each other. But we're just not. We're just not going to collect their data. I don't care if it means that you could have built a much more profitable company. I'm not building something that isn't good for every single person that touches it. It's not good for me to hold loads of people's data. It's not good for them. It makes us much more vulnerable to being attacked if we hold their data. So we just don't. We can't see a single thing. We can't see a single message that they've sent. We don't even know the names of the people that they're searching for.
Oh, wow.
It happens it happens entirely locally for them.
That's a huge
Yeah,
point of difference to a lot of tech
it
companies.
is.
You spoke a little bit before about raising money through angel investors and you've gone through Techstars. Can you explain for listeners who haven't been through that experience, what's it actually like in the pitch room?
So when you're raising money, and when we say raising money, what we mean is I want to build a company and I need money up front. I can't
Mhm.
just, it's not like, say, a restaurant where you could just go and get a table out of your garage, put it outside the front of your house, go and buy some ingredients, turn it into a meal and sell it for money. And then you've got money coming back straight away. Like with
Mm.
tech products, it doesn't really work like that. You need quite a lot of money up front to pay developers and pay designers. It might be a year, it could be 2 years, or in some much more complicated tech, it could be 3, 4, 5 years until you make a single dollar. And so the way that we fund those businesses is we say the words raise capital, or like there's so many jargon in our industry, it locks people out. What it means is you sell a bit of your company, you give an investor a portion of your company, some shares in your company in return for money that they give you. And you use that money to do things like pay developers and pay for rent so you can have an office and pay yourself so that you can eat food while you're doing it. You know, people like me who've got 5 kids do have to pay themselves. So you are exchanging shares in your business with investors in order to build the tech in your company. And the kind of investors that do that kind of deal are a very specific kind, because investing in startups, tech startups like mine, is the single most risky kind of investment you can make, because who knows if it's going to work? No one knows if anyone's even going to buy it. So they are investing on the understanding that the most likely outcome is that your business will fail. And so all of those people who invest, they have to have access to a lot of money, because their investment money can't be money that they depend on to live. It's got to be extra money that they have. And so you are going to ask all of these usually very high net worth individuals if they want a piece of your company in return for some of their money. That's how investment in a very basic sense works. And so individual people who are just taking money out of their own bank account, that's called an angel investor. The other type of people that invest in early stage businesses are called venture capital. Venture meaning woohoo, quite fun, that's exciting. Capital meaning money. Risky businesses that need like risky money. So venture capital firms is basically usually what the way they sort of came about is you've got lots of these people who want to be angel investors. And in the end, someone's gone, you know what? I'm going to open a venture capital fund. And what I'll do is I'll get all of those individual investors to put money into a fund, into one pool. And then I, as the venture capital fund manager, I'll go out and found the startups and I'll just invest in the startups from that pool, that fund of money. And so that becomes like a business in itself. And so I purposefully raised my money from angel investors and not venture capital funds. I did that on purpose. The only people who can invest in my business really, usually they really care about the problem that I'm solving, or they think that I'm the right person to solve that problem. And so those are the people that I approached, and those are the people I raised money from. The exceptions being Techstars, which is a big US venture capital fund. The way that they work is a little bit different. You give them shares, they give you money, but on top of the money, they'll select 12 startups to go into a 12-week program. And it's like startup school. And you learn a lot. It's amazing. And so because of that, you give them a little bit extra shares because of the money that they give you, as well as the education means a lot.
You were the first woman from New Zealand accepted into Techstars Sydney. So talk us through quickly the pitching, either through Techstars or to your angel investors. What's that like?
I took 2 very different approaches with both of those. So when I pitched to Techstars, they're a huge business. They have invested in thousands of businesses. They will tell you exactly how they want you to pitch to them. I had to do a 5-minute pitch and I had to do a slide deck in it. So there's a bit of a formula for slide decks, and you can look at all sorts of assets online. Like there's a really good one, the Y Combinator, how to build a seed deck is a really good resource. But you basically kind of have an opening slide that's got Dispute Buddy, best app in the world for downloading texts for court, or whatever your one-liner is. And then like, here's the problem I'm solving. Everybody's screenshotting and going completely mental. And the other problem on the other side is lawyers are reading screenshots and going completely mental. And the other problem is judges are getting screenshots and can't tell what the hell's going on. So like you've got this alignment of problems across all the stakeholders. Then you go, what's your solution? I'm going to build a magic platform that sucks in text and spits out the right ones. So you have a slide that says your solution. And it's like, how do you know that this is a problem that people are going to pay money for? Oh, well, I've interviewed 30 lawyers and one of them became my investor. That's a really good signal. So investors are looking for signals. Oh, the lawyer tested your prototype and became an investor. Great. And then you definitely need to show a slide of, I'm the best person in the world to build this because I experienced this problem and I've built and sold a company before. Really great signal. I've also managed to attract this top talent. Seth Bell, one of the top 20 engineers in the whole of Australia, is building this product with me. And then after that, they'll just talk to you and quiz you. Usually questions that you get asked when you're raising capital is, so what's your route to market? And when they say that, they mean, who are you going to sell it to? You can't just turn up on your front doorstep and go, hey, this anybody's available. You've got to think about, am I selling it through lawyers? Am I selling it direct to consumers? If I sell it direct to consumers, where am I going to go and find them? Are they in lawyers' offices or are they in legal aid places? So you have to kind of articulate your plan to find those customers and how much you think it will cost you to do that plan. You also need some financial projections as well, which you can ask someone to help you with. Yeah. And then
amazing.
hopefully at the end of that, you get the email that I got, which was, you're accepted. And if you don't, it is not a reflection of your business. It is only a reflection of that selection process. And you should carry on and you should find out, get feedback from it. You should carry on regardless. It's not a reflection of your business when you get turned down. It's just a reflection of a gajillion other things. Much the same, it's not a reflection of my business when I got selected, really. It's a combination of luck and me understanding the selection process.
Amazing. Thank you for explaining that, because I think a lot of people will be thinking about that process and it's a bit of a black box. So it's great to know the step-by-step guide.
And you should always do what I know a lot of people do. I get loads of people reaching out to me saying, hey, I'm applying for StartMate, or hey, I'm applying for Techstars. Can you give me some advice on here's my deck. What should I be thinking about? Like, you should reach out to as many people as possible to see who will help you.
So into running the business now, you're operating the business, you have customers. As you said, you got an amazing CTO.
Yay!
So,
we've got customers! Yay! Traction.
It's
That's called
working.
actual traction.
Yeah, all those signals leading to traction. It's amazing. What are the challenging times? So what's come close to breaking the company and what kept it going?
Every day comes close to breaking the company, and every day your grit and determination makes that not happen. That's it. So this is how I kind of think of a tech company. Like, every day you are trying to get rid of the most risky thing that's going to bring you down. Like, you are in survival for such a long period of time. There's this phrase called default dead or default alive, which is a phrase coined by Paul Graham from Y Combinator. Let's say if you've got sales in your business, will your sales start earning you money above the amount that you need to spend before that money runs out? That's default alive if that's true. Default dead is, let's say you've got $100,000 in your bank account, but you're spending $50,000 a month on wages and rent and things like that. But you're earning $25,000 a month in revenue. Well, then you're default dead. You've only got 2 months of runway of money. That, like, when you think of what are the things that can bring it down, I'm still in survival mode. I'm default alive at the moment, but it changes. It can change in a heartbeat. Like, suddenly my costs could go up, suddenly my revenue could go down, and I could be default not alive. And if that's the case, then I might need to raise capital again at some stage. I don't want to do that at all. I just want to earn revenue. There's 2 ways of getting money in your business when you're a tech company. You can raise capital, go to investors and exchange bits of your company in exchange for money to help build your product. Or you can go to customers and you can say, would you like to pay money for my product? I can help you feel in control, and I can help you resolve your dispute quicker, and I can help you prove the coercion and control in years of text and patterns, and I can give it to you for the cost of 1 hour of legal. Catherine Baker, an American criminal attorney, said to us the other day, this would save my clients 15 hours of legal, and they've only paid for 1 hour of legal, right? In Australia, we're $350 one-off payment, lifetime use. In America, we're $249 one-off payment, lifetime use. That's brilliant. That's going to keep us going. It's going to teach us things about the customers. It's going to help us develop. Keeps us really close to what the customers want. Every minute that you spend trying to raise capital with investors is a minute that you're not selling to your customers, that you're not listening to your customers, and that you're not actually delivering for the problem that you're trying to solve. And it monkeys with your brain. So at any one time, working in my business is me and Seth. So Seth's technical, I'm CEO, he's CTO. We kind of take on a few contractors now and then as we need them. But other than that, we are building really lean so that when sales fall, it's not the end of the world. Our business is less likely to go under.
Amazing. So this is Tech Careers Hotline, and we have a couple of calls in.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the Always Space Initiative alumni. Today our question is, how do you ensure that platforms like Dispute Buddy remain fair when resolving conflicts?
Particularly when dealing with complex situations where both sides feel equally justified. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll take the first bit, which is how do we remain fair when resolving conflict? We are not the law. So that's the law's job, to take the rules that we've decided as a society that we call the law, and then a judge apply those rules. The information that judge needs is evidence, because they've got to decide on who said what to who and when, so that I can make a fair ruling. What has been really unfair and unequal is that it's very difficult to gather that evidence. And the best way that you can gather that evidence is by using a lot of money to pay a lawyer to help you, or to use expensive products to do it for you. And so then the law becomes unequal. The law should be equally accessible, whether you're good, bad, rich, poor, male, female, non-binary, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's not at the moment. It's very much gendered and wealthed. So tools like Dispute Buddy bring transparency. So we are able to surface who said what to who and when on texts really quickly, really easily, so that someone like a lawyer can have a look at it and go, right, I've got the actual truth of the information here, so I can then build a case. We don't care whether they feel equally justified. What we care about is whether their behavior fits within the law. So tools like Dispute Buddy, which bring about transparency, naturally are used by the person who has not broken the law. If you have been controlling someone else, you want to obfuscate that and make it occluded and difficult to prove. If you've been controlled and you want to prove it, you will do anything to use transparency to show exactly what happened. So it's natural that all of our customers, they all desperately want transparency.
Thank you for sharing. And on that topic, we've got another question from a mid-career professional.
Hi, Jenny. Can you please explain the concept of coercive control and why it's so important that the government and the judicial system recognises this as part of domestic violence?
That's such a good question. Coercive control is a term that we use quite a bit in Australia now, and New Zealand and the UK. All of these countries, it's illegal. Coercive control has become part of the judicial system. Essentially, coercive control is basically a pattern of behaviour where one person systematically dominates and isolates and manipulates and controls the other person and strips away all of their autonomy and freedom and sense of themselves. It's calculated and it happens over long periods of time, usually weeks, months, years. So it might look like, look, I've changed all the passwords on the bank account so that, because it's just easier. You're not very technical. It looks like things like that, monitoring movements and isolating them. And so even though none of these things like leave a bruise or a physical sign on your body, the damage they cause is enormous. And so it's really critical that governments and judicial systems really formally recognize coercive control, because the law shapes what society takes seriously. And so when courts and judicial systems take coercive control seriously, it tells society that they understand that this is not a good thing. Last year, the Australian government said, okay, we are now going to take into account, when splitting up a relationship property, coercive control and domestic violence are taken into account in that separation. So they are able to give a different amount, obviously usually in favour of the person who's being coerced. But here's the other thing. It's really difficult to prove. And so you've got all of these lawyers and judges and all these different people that go, great, well, we understand it's illegal. Well, where do we see the evidence? Dispute Buddy is one of the only tools.
I want to shift now a little bit to you as a founder and you as somebody with a career now in tech. So you came into tech without a technical background. You came in later in life and you live in New Zealand, in a small town. What would you say to people who are interested in a career in tech?
I became a tech founder after I'd been investing in tech businesses. I'd spent a long time in the ecosystem. I went to a lot of pitch nights. I volunteered to be on due diligence teams. I'd listened and learned a lot. If you want to use technology to build a product and you haven't got a background in software engineering, use YouTube, go to some meetups of no code, low code meetups, join a hackathon, which is where you all join together and you kind of use tech to solve a problem. There's so many cool things. Startup weekends. You don't have to have an idea. You don't have to know anything. You just turn up and listen. And that's the way to get into it, I think.
You've said you like to be wrong. What do you mean by that? And why does that matter in a startup?
Ah, I love that question. I like to be wrong. It's a bit like what I was saying earlier about when you've got an early stage tech business, you're just trying to get less wrong all the time with every decision you make. You're trying to be less risky and remove risk so that your business is more likely to succeed. That might look like, oh my gosh, I don't have an engineer. Oh my gosh, now I've got an engineer building it. And is that engineer any good? Oh my gosh, they've built a desktop app before. That's even de-risked it. They know what they're doing. It's all these sorts of things. Oh my gosh, I've got an investor on my cap table meaning the people that own the shares. I've now got an investor who is a family lawyer. And so will test my app in their family law firm. That de-risks it. Like these are all de-risking things. So when I think I like to be wrong, I'm just really comfortable knowing that every single thought I've got is deeply flawed, is probably not a good idea. And I'm really comfortable with people prodding my beliefs and showing me how I can get better, because every time you discover that you're wrong, it means that you've just learned something new and you can probably do something better. Like that's really the fundamental difference. If you discover you're wrong, that's because you've just discovered something new. Like that's amazing. Why would you be worried about discovering that you were wrong at something? You've just increased your knowledge.
That's a great reframe. I think that's fabulous. And it can feel so uncomfortable to be wrong, but getting comfortable with it means that you're growing and evolving and learning.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
love that.
you just don't take it personally. I just don't really take things like that personally. Of course, I'm going to be wrong. Everybody's wrong on some things. And also, it might not be binary. It might just be opinions of what's right and wrong. And it's all right to hold quite a few of them at the same time. And so I just don't really take things like that personally. No one's perfect. No one can purport to know everything. Like, I just don't understand why anyone would be so defensive about being wrong, unless you look really stupid. I look really stupid quite frequently.
Part of the game, right? Do you think there's anything that coming into tech later in life has brought you?
Yeah. The benefit of doing tech when you're 50 is vast. I was talking to another of my founder friends the other day. She's 50 and I'm 51, but we were both saying, like, the benefit of the experience, the runs on the board you've got, the easiness of being wrong, the fact that you've been through various economic cycles, that you've seen so much is absolutely invaluable. You tend to make a lot better decisions as a 50-year-old if you have worked hard at how to do that. We find it easy to regulate our emotions. Like one of my really good friends, Freddie McKenzie, he's the founder of Go Manifest, an AI company. It's a time tracking tool for creatives, for big agencies. He's really talented. He's 26. He's super smart. But I cannot escape the fact that for half of my life, he wasn't alive and he hasn't seen some of the cycles and things. And that's really challenging. He's got lots of other things that make life easier for him than me. An AI native, he grew up in it. But it's really not difficult to teach yourself. Like I love AI. I use a huge amount of AI in our business. That's how we're able to operate so on such a lean team.
Can you talk a little bit about being a founder from a regional town in New Zealand? What's that experience like?
Yeah, I love that. So me and my husband, we live on the beach in a town called Mount Maunganui in Aotearoa, New Zealand. We literally live on the beach. I sit in my bikini on my computer most of the time and just pull on a shirt when I've got to do a meeting. But I have got trousers on today. But
Good.
so yeah, I live at the beach and I fly to Sydney once a month and spend a week with Seth and meet other people and do the things I need to do. And the rest of the time I'm at the beach with my husband. Like I can see lots of benefit in living in Sydney or in centres where there's lots of tech people, but we've got 5 kids. I love being with my children. I love being with my husband and my mum and dad. And I don't want to be anywhere else. It's real low key. It's a very easy way of living. Because I haven't built a tech company anywhere else, I'm like, I just don't know why it's even a big deal.
Yeah. Why would you do it any other way? That's great.
Well, it's more like, I don't know why it's relevant to even think about whether you're regional or in a big centre, because I've done it anyway. But I've had the immense privilege and luck and fortune to be, and because I'm 50, to be able to be in a position where I can travel to the places that we need to be.
So looking forward to the future, 10, 20 years in the future, what do you think future Jenny will be doing or thinking about?
Future Jenny, 10 years from now, will have either still have Dispute Buddy or will have sold it. And then alongside, I will be using my knowledge to invest in and help grow women-led tech businesses, because the world needs more businesses built in tech by women. There's just no question. And not just women, but everybody that just doesn't look like the majority of the people that are given the opportunity to build tech. 98% of all venture capital goes to white men from a particular background. And that's a concern, not because they're not good at it, because they are. It's not that. How are we going to solve the world's biggest problems like poverty and environment and inequality and access to justice and water if we only fund a tiny proportion of the world, taught by a tinier proportion of professors at an even tinier proportion of universities? Like, there's a whole world of other people who've got ways of solving problems. Because they experience the problems at a far greater rate, they're the people ideally suited to solving them. Like, it actually blows my tiny mind that, like, here's one of the massive lies of venture capital. They go, we like to invest in people who deeply understand the problem they're solving. Also, venture capitalists invested in a business called Flow, which had a male co-founder group, which built period products for women. And it's the most funded, got like hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. Like, so those two, it's a lie. And also, there's no way that those men can be building products that are as good as ones that can be built by women.
Absolutely.
So that's why, like, Dispute Buddy needs to be built by me, and it needs, and it also needs to have advice from lots of people who don't look like me, who experience a lack of access to justice at a far greater rate. And so those are the people that need to be involved, and those are the people that need investments, and those are the people that should be building tech products, and those are the people I'm going to be investing in. That's what 10 years from now me will look like. I mean, I got given a passport from New Zealand, and I love that country so much. And so if I could die knowing that I had brought about more financial equality in New Zealand from my investments and sharing my knowledge of how to build tech products, then I'd die very, very happy.
Amazing. Well, thank you for all of the work that you do. Thank you so much for building this incredible product. And thanks for coming and sharing your wisdom with us today. So appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Jenny. We hope you enjoyed that episode of Tech Careers Hotline today. And if you did, please help us out by subscribing, leaving us a review, or even share it with someone who you think might find value from it today. Until next time.